The console wars are dead, or the battle lines are being redrawn. The era of consoles fighting tooth and nail over exclusivity is a thing of the past, as now PlayStation is seemingly fully embracing the multi-platform business lifestyle, as was revealed with them announcing that they are seeking a new senior director for multi-platform and account management. Xbox and PlayStation are looking like entire different companies from generations past. But Nintendo? Well, they are still standing strong with the roaring success of the Switch 2, with no sign of going multi-platform in sight, at least for now. Hello everyone, I am Jmulls, and we have a lot to talk about. Okay, let's rip the band-aid off. I was not joking, PlayStation is seeking a senior director for multi-platform and account management. I'll leave a link in the description down below to their job application, though trigger warning if you play Genshin Impact. Now, there's a lot of fluff in this job application, so let's focus in on the important elements. The overview reads the following. Reporting to the Vice President, Commercial Management as Senior Director of Multi-Platform and Account Management, you will play a critical leadership role in shaping and executing the global commercial strategy for PlayStation Studios software titles across all digital platforms beyond PlayStation hardware, including Steam, Epic Games Store, Xbox, Nintendo, and mobile. This role is accountable for optimizing title profitability, ensuring cross-functional alignment, and leading a high-performing team focused on multi-platform expansion, mid-range commercial planning, and platform partner management. This isn't just PlayStation wanting to get more into the PC market. They want to do that as well, hence the inclusion of Steam and Epic Games Store. However, they're not only doing PC, they're going with Xbox, they're going with Nintendo, and they're doing mobile as well. They want a piece of every pie. The next section lists the key responsibilities of this role. The first one being multi-platform strategy leadership. Oversee the out-of-year, mid-range, commercial strategy for PlayStation Studios titles across all non-PlayStation platforms, driving long-term revenue growth and audience reach. Cross-functional planning. Lead the commercial contribution to PlayStation Studios' mid to long-range planning, ensuring Sony Interactive Entertainment leadership is informed with data-driven insights and strategic perspectives. Go down to go-to-market execution. Partner with marketing, product, and global publishing teams to develop and execute cohesive launch plans and life cycle strategies for multi-platform titles. Commercial account management. Lead platform relationships across PC and console ecosystems, Steam, Epic, Xbox, Nintendo, ensuring strong collaboration, promotional effectiveness, and performance optimization. And then team leadership. Direct and develop a team of senior managers across multi-platform strategy, account management, platform sales, and planning. Direct reports include Director, Multi-Platform Strategy and Account Management, Senior Manager, Platform Sales, Xbox and PC, Manager, Platform Planning and Performance, PC and Xbox. The reason I wanted to go through all of that was because I wanted to just drive home the fact this doesn't seem like some small investment from Sony. This seems like a major shift in business strategy going into the future, and they are laying the groundwork for following in the footsteps of Xbox in this regard, where Xbox, over the last while now, has been doing something similar, announcing and putting their games onto, well, PlayStation. A while back, Xbox put their games on PC, and even have an entire version of Game Pass just for PC with PC Game Pass. But why would Sony do this? For the longest while, the prevailing idea was that exclusivity was king. If you wanted to grow your console, to grow your ecosystem, you needed to have a swath of continual exclusives to not only draw new attention, but to retain your existing player base. So why would Sony, when we have seen Xbox falter so much in the last couple of years, now willingly create positions to direct an effort to put their games, their exclusives, on other platforms? Why would they do this? Why give up that advantage they had? Well, I think the industry is just changing overall. At the end of the day, these companies are just companies. They are looking for more money, they are looking for what looks best in quarterly reports, and they want to show that graph go up and up with each new quarter. An easy way to cut costs is to just remove people, fire them, let them go, however you want to call it, which is what we have seen throughout the gaming industry and just tech overall over the last few years. Because if you're just spending less money, well then, that'll look really good to investors and shareholders. However, another way to get that graph to go up is to just simply sell more product. In an era where live service is seemingly king and draws in so much money, yeah, Sony has had some missteps with this, Concord, but they have also had big successes, Helldivers 2, and when these games hit, they can make a lot of money. And no small part of Helldivers 2's success was because it was also on PC. PC is a massive market, and I think Sony started to realize, hey, wait a minute, for these games that essentially lock players into an ecosystem already, we don't need to convince them to buy a PlayStation if we can just convince them to buy a PlayStation game, especially if that game has a bunch of monetization that we can draw on for perpetual revenue from these players over time. And I imagine their math indicates, why restrict our pool of players to only those people who have bought a PlayStation, whereas we could market this ecosystem to all other platforms. Fishing from a larger ocean in this scenario just draws up more fish. It would be exceedingly hard to nudge into Nintendo's corner of the market, and likewise, it's extremely hard to nudge into the PC market and siphon players away from the PC platform or the Nintendo platform to the PlayStation platform. It's not impossible, and sure, you can do that with some people, but when it comes to the vast majority out there, you're not going to convince them to move on over to get a PlayStation 5. No matter how many good games or titles you put out, you might as well just sell to them and tap into that giant pool of players to make way more money, because that'll look way better in a quarterly report and to shareholders and investors. And they don't care where the money comes from, they just want that line to continue to go up. And it's not like PlayStation hasn't already begun this strategy. They've been porting a lot of their games to PC, and I imagine that will continue. And it's just in the future that will also begin to incorporate Xbox and Nintendo. Because I don't think they'll limit themselves to just the live service games on these platforms. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the single-player games are just timed exclusives on PlayStation that will release eventually on these other platforms, allowing them to still dip into the other markets while incentivizing people to move on over to PlayStation. Whether or not that strategy will actually work will remain to be seen, though. And I know the meme is that PlayStation has no exclusives for the PS5, even if it's not technically true, but generally speaking, a lot of people like the games that Sony puts out, especially if they put more games like Astro Bot out into the market, and people have been clamoring for games like Bloodborne for the longest time to come back. I think what we're seeing are companies abandoning what used to be foundational knowledge of the industry and wisdom in terms of how to grow and sustain a platform, all in the name of trying to get more money. It's as simple as that, in my opinion. It's not like PlayStation will be alone in this strategy. Xbox has been doing the same for a while now. And heck, one of the big announcements we've been waiting for is Xbox announcing that Halo's gonna go multi-platform. That just seems like an announcement that's inevitable at this point. Xbox has gone all in with PC as well, and are now starting to put out branded hardware, like the new Aces ROG thing they're doing. Even if quite a few titles end up being timed exclusives for a while, I will not be surprised if in a few years we see both PlayStation and Xbox release their games on as many platforms as they physically can or realistically can, all in the service of trying to tap into more players that can buy their games and give them more money. To them, the math is probably really simple. You either make $0 from the rival platform, or you make any amount of money from it. And unless you're somehow operating in the negative by doing so, you're gonna be making more money by doing this. Even if some people will view it to be short-sighted and eroding a lot of the reason people have to, well, stick with that platform to begin with. This applies to not only to Xbox, but also now to PlayStation. And my mind just goes back to a simple question. Do PlayStation and Xbox actually care? Do they think the risks are worth it? Or do they believe even if people don't buy the next generation of their hardware, they'll still buy their software? Which is probably where most of the money is, let's be honest. Especially in the realm of live service games where they can always just sell you cosmetics or microtransactions or a battle pass. Why try and compete with the competition when you can just make the competition work for you? But what about the potential big winner in this scenario? Nintendo. We have seen the Switch 2 start its generation off with massive success, just across the board, like to my knowledge. And if we consider the big three right now to be PlayStation, Xbox, and the Nintendo Switch, well, 2 out of 3 of those parties are seemingly all in with going multi-platform. Nintendo's the odd duck out, but Nintendo is a business as well, same as PlayStation and same as Xbox, though their priorities are different. But despite their differences, do you think Nintendo will at some point also go multi-platform? I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility. Now, I want to just make this abundantly clear. I do not think it is likely, anytime soon at least. Whatever Nintendo is doing, it's a winning formula. And if they're being told that both Xbox and PlayStation want to sell their own games on the Nintendo eShop, and Nintendo can make money off of that, they'll probably just sit back and go, yeah, sure, I'll take the free money, thank you. Thank you for giving people less of a reason to leave our ecosystem. And Nintendo may end up being content in that. It's worked up to now, I mean. And while I do not think it's likely that anytime soon, if ever, Nintendo would put their games on PlayStation or Xbox or PC, whatever, I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility. Again, Nintendo is simply a business. They want money and they want more money. And if they ever end up running the numbers and it tells them, hey, we'll make more money if you just sell to more people, and to sell to more people you can just put your games on other platforms, they may end up pulling the trigger. Or Nintendo will go, well, the Switch 2 is selling like hotcakes. Our games are doing extraordinarily well. This is a winning formula and a winning strategy. Why would we deviate from that? Why fix what isn't broken? It's Nintendo. They are liable to be a roller coaster. They have gone from the massive success of the Wii to the Wii U, and then the Switch, and now the Switch 2. Again, I don't think it's likely. They have been trying to dip their toe the last few years into the mobile market, which tells me it's not outside the realm of possibility, though the mobile market is really separate, but it's also massive. If they believe similar logic can apply to, say, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, then I wouldn't be surprised if they at least attempt it with a few titles maybe here and there. We are on the verge of a very different gaming landscape than we have ever really known. It used to be that consoles warred over the features of the hardware, the features of their software, and exclusives. And if Sony really doubles down in this direction, it'll feel more like Xbox and PlayStation are glorified publishers that also just happen to have hardware available. Now, I'm actually rather optimistic and open to this. I'm not that big of a fan of exclusivity. Sometimes it's a necessary evil, and it made sense why publishers did it for so long, right? Especially if a game wasn't going to exist to begin with, but is able to exist because Sony, Xbox, or Nintendo wanted to have an exclusive, so they gave them enough money to fund the project. But overall, when games go multi-platform, I think it's something to celebrate and be happy about. And I never agreed with people trying to argue against games going multi-platform. The console wars can be fun for a good joke every now and then, but it's kind of weird how so many people on the internet view it borderline as a personality trait which plastic box they have. Personally speaking, I like that Sony is going in this direction. It works out for me since PlayStation is not my platform of choice, PC is. But it's also raised a lot of interesting questions. Will they ever put PlayStation Plus on PC as well, like how Xbox put Game Pass on PC? I doubt that would be an immediate thing, but we have seen them go for having overlays and a launcher on PC, which always felt like a sign of things to come in my opinion. So I wouldn't really call this move an overall surprise, but what I think this shows is that this truly is the future for Sony, because I doubt they're only going to put 1 or 2 titles onto other platforms. this feels like a complete shift in their business strategy going forward. So here's where you come in. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts on Sony going multi-platform. Are you in favor of it? Do you dislike it? I'd love to hear your thoughts and hear your opinions and hear your perspectives. While you're down there, leave a like and subscribe for more gaming news and content. Follow me on TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter, Jmulls G. I have a Discord in the description down below. And speaking of PC, guys, Steam got torched. Payment processors are leveraging power against Steam in order to remove games. And I think it's just the beginning, and you should check out this video to find out more. Stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody, until we meet again!